Shalom and welcome to Torah and Coffee. Always good to have a hot cup of coffee, no matter how hot it is out there. Yesterday I was cutting the lawn. I was sweating and so hot. I came in, had a hot cup of coffee, relaxed for a while, went back out and finished. It's good to have coffee, even though people try to get me off coffee. Hey, we are in Numbers chapter 8, starting at verse 1, all the way to Numbers chapter 12, verse 16. Then we're going to read in Zechariah 2, starting at verse 14, and go to chapter 4, verse 7. That's the Haftadrah. Now the BeritHadasah, which is John 19:31 through 37, Hebrews chapter 3, 1 through 6, and Hebrews 4, 1 through 16. So let's open your Bibles and read along with me, starting in chapter 8, verse 1. And don't forget, cup of coffee always hits the spot. Or, for some of you in different areas that drink tea, enjoy your cup of tea. Hebrews 1:8. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you mount the lamps, let the 7 lamps give light at the front of the menorah." Aaron did so. He mounted the lamp at the front of the menorah, so Yahweh had commanded Moshe. Now this is how the menorah was made. It was hammered work of gold, hammered from base to pedal, according to the pattern that Yahweh had shown Moshe. So was the menorah made. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Take the levium from among the Israelites and cleanse them." Levium are the priests. "This is what you shall do to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle on them water of purification and let them go over their whole body with a razor and wash their clothes. Thus shall they be cleansed. Let them take a bull of the herd and with it a meal offering of choice flour with oil mixed in, and you take a second bull of the herd for a sin offering. You shall bring the levium forward before the tent of meeting, assemble the whole Israelite community, and bring the levium forward before Yahweh. Let the Israelites lay their hands upon the levium, and let Aaron designate the levium before Yahweh as an elevation offering from the Israelites, that they may perform the service of Yahweh. The levium shall now lay their hands on the head of the bulls. One shall be offered to Yahweh as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering, to make expiation for the levium. You shall place the levium in attendance upon Aaron and his sons, and designate them as an elevation offering to Yahweh. Thus you shall set the levium apart from the Israelites, and the levium shall be mine. Therefore the levium shall be qualified for the service of the tent of meeting, once you have cleansed them and designated them as an elevation offering. I wondered what they called the tent of meeting, and I thought it was the Holy of Holies, and so did our pastor. But as I read in the scriptures, the tent of meeting to me sounds like the tabernacle of the wilderness. So let's go on to verse 16. For they are formerly assigned to me from among the Israelites. I have taken them from for myself in place of all the first issue of the womb, of all the firstborn of the Israelites. For every firstborn among the Israelites, man has as well as beasts is mine. I consecrated them to myself at all times, that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt. Now I take the levium instead of every firstborn of the Israelites. Unity and not confusion, because if you, well, I'll comment on that a little later. 19. And from among the Israelites I formally assigned the levium to Abraham and his sons. 19. And from, read that again. And from among the Israelites I formally assigned the levium to Aaron and his sons to perform the service of the Israelites in the tent of meeting, and to make expiation for the Israelites, so that no plague may afflict the Israelites for coming too near the sanctuary. Moshe and Aaron and the whole Israelite community did with the levium according to just as Yahweh had commanded Moshe in regard to the levium, so the Israelites did with them. The levium purified themselves and washed their clothes, and Aaron designated them as an elevation offering before Yahweh, and Aaron made expiation for them to cleanse them. Thereafter the levium were qualified to perform the service in the tent of meeting under Aaron and his sons, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe in regard to the levium, so they did to them. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, This is the rule for the levium from 25 years of age up. They shall practice in the workforce in the service of the tent of meeting. But at the age of 50 they shall retire from the workforce and shall serve no more. They may assist their brother levium in the tent of meeting by standing guard, but they shall not perform no labor. Thus you shall deal with the levium in regard to their duties. Chapter 9, verse 1. Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai on the first new moon of the second year, following the exodus from the land of Egypt, saying, Let Bnei Israel offer the Pesach sacrifice at its set time. Pesach means Passover in the Hebrew. You shall offer it in the 14th day of this month, at twilight at the set time. You shall offer it in accordance with all its rules and rites. Moshe instructed the Israelites to offer the Pesach sacrifice, and they offered the Pesach sacrifice in the first month on the 14th day of the month, at twilight, in the wilderness of Sinai, just as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. So the Israelites did. But there were some men who were unclean by reason of a corpse and could not offer the Pesach sacrifice on that day, appearing the same day before Moshe and Aaron. Those men said to them, Unclean though we are by reason of a corpse, why must we be debarred from presenting Yahweh offering at its set time with the rest of the Israelites? Moshe said to them, Stand by and let me hear what instructions Yahweh gives about you. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Bnei Israel, when any of you or your posterity who are defiled by a corpse or are on a long journey, who offer a Pesach sacrifice to Yahweh, They shall offer it in the 2nd month on the 14th day of the month. At twilight they shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, and they shall not leave any of it over until morning. They shall not break a bone of it. They shall offer it in strict accordance of the law, with the law of the Pesach sacrifice. But if a man who is clean and not on a journey refrains from offering a Pesach sacrifice, that person shall be cut off from his kin, for he did not present Yahweh's offering at the set time. That man shall bear his guilt. And when a stranger who resides with you would offer a Pesach sacrifice to Yahweh, he must offer it in accordance with the rules and rites of the Pesach sacrifice. There shall be one law for you, whether stranger or citizen of the country. On the day that the Mishkan was set up, the cloud covered the Mishkan, the tent of the pact, and in the evening it rested over the Mishkan in the likeness of fire until morning. It was always so. The cloud covered it, appearing as fire by night. And whenever the cloud lifted from the tent, the Israelites would set out accordingly, and at the spot where the cloud settled, there the Israelites would make camp. As a command from Yahweh, the Israelites broke camp, and at the command of Yahweh, they made camp. They remained encamped as long as the cloud stayed over the Mishkan. When the cloud lingered over the Mishkan many days, the Israelites observed Yahweh's mandate and did not journey on. Verse 20. At such times as the cloud rested over the Mishkan for but a few days, they remained encamped at the command of Yahweh and broke camp at the command of Yahweh. And at such times as the cloud stayed from evening until morning, they broke camp as soon as the cloud lifted in the morning, day or night. Whenever the cloud lifted, they would break camp. Whether it was 2 days or a month or a year, however long the cloud lingered over the Mishkan, the Israelites remained encamped and did not set out. Only when it lifted did they break camp. On a sign from Yahweh they made camp, and on a sign from Yahweh they broke camp. They observed Yahweh's mandate to Yahweh's bidding through Moshe. Chapter 10. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, "Have 2 silver trumpets made. Make them of hammered wood. They shall serve as to summon the community and to set the divisions in motion. When both are blown in a long blast, the whole community shall assemble before you at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And if only one is blown, the chieftains, heads of the Israel contingents, shall assemble before you. But when you sound short blasts, the divisions encamped on the east shall move forward. And when you sound short blasts a second time, to those encamped on the south shall move forward. Thus short blasts shall be blown for setting them in motion. While the congregation you shall blow long blasts, not short ones. The trumpets shall be blown by Aaron's son, the Kohanim. They shall be for all you an instruction for all time throughout the ages. When you are at war in your land against the aggressors who attack you, you shall sound short blast on the trumpet, that you may be remembered before Yahweh your God, and be delivered from your enemies. And on your joyous occasions, your fixed festivals and new moons, you shall sound the trumpets over your burnt offerings and your sacrifices of well-being. They shall be a reminder of you before your God. I, Yahweh, am your God. In the second year of the 12th day of the second month, the cloud lifted from the Mishkan of the pact, and the Israelites set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sinai. The cloud came to rest in the wilderness of Paran, when the march was to begin, as Yahweh's command through Moshe. The first standard to set out, troop by troop, was the division of Yehudah. In command of his troops was Nashon, son of Aminadab. In command of the tribal troop of Issachar, Nathanael, son of Suah. And in command of the tribal troop of Zebulun, Eliab, son of Helon. Then the Mishkan would be taken apart, and the Gershonites and the Merarites who carried the Mishkan would set out. The next standard to set out, troop by troop, was the division of Reuben. In command of his troops was Elizur, son of Shedeur. In command of the tribal group of Shimon, Shalumiel, son of Surishadai. And in command of the tribe of Gad, Eliasaph, son of Zuel. Then the Kohathites, who carried the sacred objects, would set out, and by the time they arrived, the Mishkan would be set up again. The next standard to set out, troop by troop, was the division of Ephraim. In command of his troop was Elishama, son of Ammihud. In command of the tribal troop of Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Pedahzur. And in command of the tribal troop of Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. Then, as the rear guard of all the division, the standard of the division of Dan would set out, troop by troop. In command of the troop was Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. In command of the troop of Asher, Pagil, son of Ochran. In command of the tribe of Naphtali, Asherah, son of Enan. Such was the order of march of the Israelites as they marched, troop by troop. Moshe said to Hobab, son of Reuel, the Midianite, Moshe's father-in-law, we are setting out for the place of which Yahweh has said, I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will be generous with you, for Yahweh has promised to be generous to Israel. Verse 30. I will not go, he replied to them. I will return to my native land. He said, please do not leave us, inasmuch as you know where you should camp in the wilderness and can be our guide. So if you come with us, we will extend to you the same bounty that Yahweh grants us. They marched from the mountains of Yahweh, a distance of 3 days. Then Aaron, BeritHadasah, Yahweh, traveled in front of them in that 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And Yahweh's cloud kept above them by day, as they moved on from camp. When Aaron was to set out, Moses would say, "Advance, Yahweh, may your enemies be scattered, and may your foes flee before us." And when it halted, he would say, "Return, Yahweh, you who are Israel's myriad of thousands." Chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 1. The people took to complain bitterly before Yahweh. Yahweh heard and was incensed. A fire of Yahweh broke out against them, ravaging the outskirts of the camp. The people cried out to Moshe. Moshe prayed to Yahweh, and the fire died down. That place was named Taberah, because the fire of Yahweh had broken out against them. The riffraff in the midst fell to gluttonous craving, and then the Israelites wept and said, "If only we had meat to eat." We remembered the fish that we used to eat free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Now our gallets are shriveled. There is nothing at all, nothing but the manna to look to. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and in color it was like betulum. The people would go about and gather it, grind it between millstones, or pound it in a mortar, boil it in a pot, and make it into cakes. It tastes like rich cream. When the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna would fall upon it. Moshe heard the people weeping over every clan apart, each person at the entrance of his tent. Yahweh was very angry, and Moshe was distressed. And Moshe said to Yahweh, "Why have you dealt ill with your servant? And why have I not enjoyed your favor that you have laid the burden of all these people upon me? Did I not conceive all these people? Did I bear them, that you should say to me, 'Carry them in your bosom, as a nurse carries an infant, to the land that you have promised an oath to their fathers?' Where am I to get meat to give to all these people when they whine before me and say, 'Give us meat to eat'? I cannot carry all these people by myself, for it is too much for me. If you will deal with me, kill me rather, I beg you, and let me see no more of my wretchedness." Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Gather for me 70 of Israel's elders, of whom you have experience as elders and officers of the people, and bring them to the tent of meeting, and let them take their place there with you. I will come down and speak with you, and there I will draw upon the Spirit that is on you and put it upon them. They shall share the burden of the people with you, and you shall not bear it alone. And say to the people, 'Purify yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, for you have kept whining before Yahweh and saying, "If only we had meat to eat. Indeed, we were better off in Egypt. Yahweh will give you meat, and you shall eat. You shall eat not 1 day, not 2, nor even 5 days, or 10 days, or 20, but a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes loathsome to you, for you have rejected Yahweh, who is among you, by whining before him and saying, "Oh, why did we ever leave Egypt?" But Moshe said, "Let the people who are with me number 600,000 men. Yet you say, I will give them enough meat to eat for a whole month." Could enough flock and herd be slaughtered to suffice them? Or could all the fish of the sea be gathered for them to suffice them? Then Yahweh answered Moshe, "Is there a limit to Yahweh's power? You shall soon see whether what I have said happened to you or not." Excuse me. 24. Moshe went out and reported the words of Yahweh to the people. He gathered 70 of the people's elders and stationed them around the tent. Then Yahweh came down in a cloud and spoke to him. He threw upon the spirit that was on him and put it upon the 70 elders. And when the spirit rested upon them, they spoke in ecstasy, but did not continue. 2 men, one named Eldad and the other Medad, had remained in camp, yet the Spirit rested upon them. They were among those recorded, but they had not gone out to the tent, and they spoke in ecstasy in the camp, or they spoke in tongues, prophesying. A youth ran out and told Moshe, saying, "Eldad and Medad are acting the Navi in the camp." And Yehoshua, son of Nun, Moshe's attendant from his youth, spoke up and said, "My lord, Moshe, restrain them." But Moshe said to him, "Are you wrought upon on my account? Would that all Yahweh's people were Nephilim, that Yahweh have put his spirit upon them." Moshe then re-entered the camp together with the elders of Israel. A wind from Yahweh started up, swept quail from the sea, and strewed them over the camp about a day's journey on this side and about a day's journey on that side, all around the camp, and some 2 amount deep on the ground. The people set to gathering quail all the day and night, and all the next day. Even he who gathered leaves had 10 shemrom, and they spread them out all around the camp. The meat was still between the teeth, not yet chewed, when the anger of Yahweh blazed forth against the people, and Yahweh struck the people with a very severe plague. The place was named Haftadrah, because the people who had cravings were buried there. Then the people set out from Haftadrah for Haftadrah when they were in Haftadrah. Chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Cushite woman he had married. He married a Cushite woman. They said, "Has Yahweh spoken only through Moshe? Has he not spoken through us as well?" Yahweh heard it. Now Moshe was a very humble man, more so than any other man on earth. Suddenly Yahweh called to Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, "Come out, you 3, to the tent of meeting." So the 3 of them went out. Yahweh came down in a pillar of cloud, stopped at the entrance of the tent, and called out, "Aaron and Miriam." The 2 of them came forth. and he said, "Hear these my words. When a Navi of Yahweh arises among you, I make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moshe. He is trusted throughout my household. With him I speak mouth to mouth, plainly, and not in riddles. And he beholds the likeness of Yahweh. How then did you not shrink from speaking against my servant Moshe? Sell incense with them." Yahweh departed. As the cloud withdrew from the tent, there was Miriam stricken with snow-white scales. When Aaron turned around, Miriam saw that she was stricken with scales. And Aaron said to Moshe, "O my Lord, account not to us the sin which we committed in our folly. Let her not be as one dead, who emerges from his mother's womb with half the flesh eaten away." So Moshe cried out to Yahweh, saying, "O Yahweh, pray heal her." But Yahweh said to Moshe, "If her father spat in her face, would she not bear her shame for 7 days? Let her be shut out of camp for 7 days, and then let her be readmitted." So Miriam was shut out of camp 7 days, and the people did not march until Miriam remitted. After that, the people set out from Hazorah and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. Now for the Haftadrah. Torah. Zechariah chapter 2, starting at verse 14. All the way to chapter 4, verse 7. Zechariah 2:14. Shout for joy for Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in your midst, declares Yahweh. And that day many nations will attach themselves to Yahweh and become his people, and he will dwell in your midst. Then you will know that I was sent to you by the Lord of hosts. Yahweh will take Yehudah to himself, to his portion, as his portion in the Holy Land, and he will choose Jerusalem once more. Be silent, all flesh, before Yahweh, for he is roused from his holy habitation. Chapter 3, verse 1. He further showed me Jehoshua the Kohen Gadol standing before the angel of Yahweh, and the accuser standing at his right to accuse him. But the angel of Yahweh said to the accuser, Yahweh rebuke you, O accuser. May Yahweh, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you, for this is a brand plucked from the fire. Now Jehoshua was clothed in filthy garments when he stood before the angel. The latter spoke up and said to his attendant, Take the filthy garment off him. And he said to him, See, I have removed your guilt from you, and you shall be clothed in priestly robes. Then he gave the order, Let a pure diadem be placed on his head. And they placed a pure diadem on his head and clothed him in priestly garments, as the angel of Yahweh stood by. And the angel of Yahweh charged Jehoshua as follows, Thus says the Lord of hosts, if you walk in my paths and keep my charge. You in turn will rule my house and guard my courts, and I will permit you to move about among these attendants. Hearken well, O High Priest Yahshua, you and your fellow Kohanim sitting before you. For those men are a sign that I'm going to bring my servant the branch. For mark well this stone which I placed before Yahshua, a single stone with 7 eyes. I will execute its engraving, declares the Lord of hosts, and I will remove that country skilled in the single day. In that day, declares the Lord of hosts, you will be inviting each other to the shade of vines and fig trees. Chapter 4, verse 1. The angel who talked with me came back and woke me as a man is wakened from sleep. He said to me, "What do you see?" And I answered, "I see a menorah all of gold with a bowl above it. The lamp on it are 7 in number, and the lamps above it have 7 pipes." Excuse me. And by it are 2 olive trees, one on the right and one of the bowl and one on the left. I in turn asked the angel who talked with me, "What do these signs mean, my Lord?" "Do you not know what these things mean?" asked the angel who talked with me, and I said, "No, my Lord." Then he explained to me as follows: "This is the word of Yahweh to Zerubbabel, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. Whoever you are, O great mountain, in the path of Zerubbabel, turn into level ground, for he shall produce that excellent stone. It shall be gathered with shouts of beautiful, beautiful. And the word of Yahweh came to me. Zerubbabel's hands have found this house, and Zerubbabel's hands shall complete it. Then you shall know that it was the Lord of hosts who sent me to you. Does anyone scorn a day of small beginnings when they see the stone of distinction in the hand of Zerubbabel? They shall rejoice. These 7 are the eyes of Yahweh ranging over the whole earth. And what, I asked him, are those 2 olive trees, on one on the right and one on the left of the menorah? And I further asked him, what are the 2 tops of the olive tree that feed the gold? They go through these 2 golden lamps. He asked me, don't you know what they are? And I replied, no, my Lord. Then he explained, they are the 2 anointed dignitaries who attend the Lord of all the earth. Thank you, Father. I looked up and I saw a flying scroll. What do you see? He asked, and I replied, a flying scroll, 20 emmets long and 10 emmets wide. Then he explained to me, it's the curse which goes out over the whole land for everyone who has stolen. It is forbidden on one side of the scroll has gone unpunished, and everyone who has sworn falsely, as is forbidden on the other side of it, has gone unpunished. But I have sent it forth, declares the Lord of hosts, and the curse shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name, and it shall lodge inside their house, and shall consume them to their last timber and stone. Then said the angel who talked with me from forward and said, now look up and note this other object that is approaching. I asked, what is it? And he said, this tub that is approaching. This, said he, is the eye in all the land. And behold, a disk of lead was lifted, revealing the woman seated inside the tub. 7 again. And behold, the disk of lead was lifted among the woman inside the tub, that he said, its wickedness, and thrusting her down into the tub, he pressed the leading weight into his mouth. I looked up and again and saw 2 women come soaring with the wind of the wings. Verse 9, chapter 5. I looked up again and saw 2 women come soaring with the wind in their wings. They had wings like those of a stork, and carry off the tub between earth and sky. Where are they taking the tub? I asked the angel who talked with me, and he answered, to build a shrine for it in the land of Shinar. A stand shall be erected for it, and it shall be set down there upon the sand. May Yahweh bless the reading of his word.